everyone, this is GTA Failure and welcome to my video series on Stardew Valley. Hopefully you've checked out a bunch of the introductory videos. We're going to jump right in with a new game. And here in the background I've got my daily plan ready to go. The link to this sheet is in the video description below. So the first thing on the first day is a question mark. Select first year community center guarantee. So that's here in settings. I'm going to leave this checkbox in its default state, which is unchecked, but you can think about whether or not you are hardcore going to try to complete the community center bundles in the first year. Step number 2 is to put in our name. So it turns out GTA Failure is not my given name. It's actually just a nickname. My given name is 74163900 with some brackets. So this particular name is associated with a glitch that we're going to use. I did talk about the glitch that I'm going to use a little bit in one of the previous videos, and you'll see it in more detail in this video right here. But in any event, if you're following along with my playthrough, I'm hoping that your name happens to be exactly the same as mine, which is this collection of numbers. Go ahead and give your farm a name. I've still got my GTA roots near and dear to my heart, so this is the Liberty City Farm. My favorite thing. Well, it's got to be Stardew, doesn't it? Okay, animal preference. Ron Swanson once said that cats are pointless, so I guess I'm going to pick a dog, and I'm going to go ahead and skip the intro. Coming back here, real important to choose the forest farm if you're following along with this playthrough. I'll talk about why we're doing that, but essentially the one-word answer is hardwood. Okay, so I think we're good to go. Skip the cutscene, we picked the dog, and now we're ready to begin our game. So we click OK. All right, I'm going to hit escape, which will pull up the menu right here. Hitting escape also turns it off. Hitting the E key also pulls up the menu. And I'll remind you from a previous video that the two main resources we're trying to juggle here, we're trying to optimize, are time and money. Now the glitch that I'm going to use is going to make the money pretty trivial. And so the main thing we're doing here is optimizing time. And if the menu is open, then time is not ticking away. And we're going to try to get the most out of our days starting at 6 a.m. and working all the way until 2 a.m. the next day. And the way to get the most out of your time in the game is to hit the pause menu whenever you're not actively doing anything. For example, if you're looking at my spreadsheet here trying to figure out what the next step is. So looking at the spreadsheet, it says that our next step is to move the bed and the TV to near the door. So let's do that. So we get out of bed, left click, and then move out of the way and left click, left click, left click. And let's go ahead and grab the parsnips while we're at it with a right click. You received 15 parsnip seeds. Here's a little something to get you started, Mayor Lewis. Thanks, Mayor Lewis. All right, we'll hit the escape key again. You can see 20 precious minutes have already disappeared. Oh, we're so slow. Okay, next step, rearrange the tools. Let's go ahead and do that. So I like my axe to be first, which is right there. I like the pickaxe second. I like the scythe to be third, and then the other ones are kind of wherever they are. But that's my order for those three. And we're going to go ahead and change a couple of settings in here. So the first one that you want to do is make sure that pause when game window is inactive is selected, just like it is here. Leave that thing filled in. I've got my sounds turned all the way down just for the purposes of making this video, but you should leave those sounds on. You can play around with the window mode, but I do encourage you to go ahead and turn on the zoom buttons if they're not already there. So I'll check this box. You can see that that brought in the plus minus here. And I'm also going to decrease my zoom to 75%. Just allows me to see more of what's around me on screen. You can experiment with that one. And then I think the only other thing, I don't know that we'll be using it all that much, but you can take a screenshot and then click there to open the destination folder if you want to see what's around you in a if you want to see a much bigger version of what's around you, like the whole map of the zone of the game that you're in, then feel free to play around with the screenshots. Okay, so I think that's good there. Coming right back here, we did that. Click always show tool hit location. That's another good one. This one right here. Hide tool hit, no, not that one. Always show tool hit location. I like that one to be checked off as well. Okay, so then it says work on clearing the 18 by 9 area and hoe and water specific spots. And then it says skip the scarecrow 3 by 3s until you're almost out of energy. All right, let's do that. So heading out of our farmhouse, our goal is to chip away at all of the space right down here in front of our, in front of our farmhouse. So 3 is the shortcut that I've got here for the scythe. So we're just going to chip away at some of this grass stuff here, getting it all out of the way. Sorry, Froggy. And so pretty much what I'm doing is clearing the area that's in this light brown shade all the way down to the bottom here, right here to this green grass that I'm standing on. That's the bottom of what I need to do. So I'll keep chipping away at the grass stuff, and then I'll switch to a different tool and take care of some of these trees. So hitting the 1 right there, a little bit more grass stuff. Go away, grass. Okay, so the scythe doesn't use any of our energy. You can see we're still at 270 out of 270, but let's go ahead and switch to the axe. And I'm left clicking and holding. I think it's 10 hits to get rid of the tree, and then there'll be a tree stump left, and 5 more hits on that tree stump will get rid of the stump. Cool. Okay, 1 hit with the axe there gets rid of these little things. I think it's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant. Okay, again, working my way all the way to the grass here at the bottom. And now you can see that every one of these swings of the axe is taking up some of our precious energy on the right-hand side. But because we're going to have so much money pretty soon, we'll be able to replace that energy with by eating lots of food. So I'm not too worried about the energy usage, but I will leave this farm area before the energy runs out completely. Letting that energy get to 0 is bad, bad, bad. Makes you super slow, super sluggish. Okay, so here's number 2. That's our pickaxe. So the pickaxe allows us to get rid of the rocks. Cool. And again, just kind of keeping an eye on the energy over there. The game will tell you when your energy is running low. So that's really what I'm looking out for, is that warning saying you're getting tired or exhausted or whatever it is. Okay, making good progress here. And continuing to chip away at all the stuff that's in our way. There's one big tree stump that we won't be able to do anything about at this point in the game. We need an upgraded axe, one upgrade to the copper axe to get rid of this stump right over here. So for now, it just sits in our way, mucking us. All right, so the energy is in the yellow, rapidly getting down to the red, which means it's just about time for us to move on to the next phase in our gameplay. Let's keep chipping away. We'll get rid of this stump. Cool. Get rid of this thing. One of those, one of those. And we'll gather up all the wood. Okay, I think we're good to go. So we've got 46 energy left. Let's go ahead and pause here and also just do a little bit of tilling of the soil in preparation for planting our parsnips later on today. So it says you're going to hoe and water specific spots. So which specific spots? Well, it's the ones right here in this map. This map is also linked down below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk out of my front door and head straight down past the first grass spot, and I'm going to till the spot below that. And then the spot below that is going to have a sprinkler way down the road, many days into the future here in our game. But that's what we're after. So let's head right back here. And coming out of the door, switching to my hoe. So you can't till the spot that I'm standing on, but you can till this spot right here. And then I'm going to go to the spot right below the one that I tilled, and I'll till the spots north, east, south, and west. Then I'll skip a square and stand in the next one so that I can again do northeast, south, and west. Skip a square, northeast, south, and west. Keep going down, northeast, south, and west. What are we at now? 14 out of 270. I will grab the, I can't grab the clay, but I do want that clay. So let's go ahead and make a chest. Hit the escape key to pull up the menu. Lots of different tabs up here. I guess we'll look at each of them in turn, but I did look at all these tabs in an intro video, but we want the crafting tab, and we want to make a chest, and it's going to tell us that we don't have room for that. Okay, let's just make a chest, put it right here, and then I'll left click out here to drop the coal. I didn't throw away the coal, I just dropped it on the ground. Okay, now we're going to put a chest right up here next to our mailbox. Left click there, that picked up the coal. We'll dump a bunch of stuff in here. Cool, and coming down here we'll grab that clay, so I don't think it disappears, but I like to have it in my possession. Okay, so moving back to our list here, it says make a chest and deposit all except for the axe and the scythe. Okay, let's do that. So get rid of this, and this. Axe and scythe are left. And then it says after 9 a.m. head to the general store and talk to Pierre behind the counter. Let's do that. So heading over here to the right. North of us is the bus stop. We're not going to take a look at that right now. We're heading to Pelican Town proper. Feel free to say hi to folks if you want, but I am hardcore focused on getting things done according to my sheet. Okay, so instead of talking to Pierre here, which will open up the cell menu, we're going to talk to Pierre back here. And he's going to say our name, which is super helpful. 163,900. This is the first instance of what that glitch thing does. So let's take a look here. If I hit escape, you'll see that we now have a legendary fish and a prismatic shard, two of the most expensive items in the game, and we're going to sell those items for cash. So you might think I'm a big, fat, dirty, stinking cheater, and you'd be right. But being able to sell this kind of stuff allows us to skip past some of the early game grind, and there's plenty of grind left, trust me on that. It's hard for me to estimate how much grind I'm skipping by doing this money glitch cheat. Because I haven't really gotten that far in this game myself. Right now we're just headed to the blacksmith. I'm going to guess that the amount of grind I'm saving is like, I don't know, like 5–10% maybe. It's not much. There's still way more grind left to do than grind that I've skipped. Okay, so it says here, go to the blacksmith and sell the shard. Let's do that. So we click on shop. You could buy some stuff with our 500 gold, but we're going to sell the prismatic shard. That's the only thing he's willing to buy in our inventory. That's what it means that this is lit up and these are grayed out. So we sell it for, you can see here at the bottom, it says 2,000 gold. And just like that, we're up at 2,500, killing it. Okay, next up, going to the carpenter to buy a phone, which is not typically the first purchase in a brand new game, but it's our first purchase because of the glitch that we're after. So, thinking about that glitch, and you'll learn your way around the map playing just a little bit, but there's not all that many destinations that we're going to be going to repeatedly, but the blacksmith and the carpenter are two of them. So, this glitch that we're after, you could see that when the shopkeeper, Pierre, said our name, we got a copy of something. We got a copy of the items that our name represents. And so when I put in our name as whatever numbers I put in, those three numbers were the item numbers of specific items in this game, 2 legendary fish, and then that prismatic shard. And so our goal is to figure out a way to get people to say our name on command. And the way that we can do that is through the telephone. So we're going to take $2,000, the 2,000 gold we just got from selling that prismatic shard, and we're going to buy the telephone. Put it right there. Excellent. Okay, then it says make 50 phone calls. All right, so what do we do here? Let's go out here. And I am going to hit number 2, which pulls out the telephone, and plop the telephone right there, and then right-click, which brings up the listing of all the people who we can call. And we're going to call Gus. You can call anybody you want. Actually, let's call Robin first. So again, I've turned the sound all the way down, so I don't think you can hear any of this stuff right here. But there's Robin. She's in the shop right behind us, and she is willing to give you her inventory and the costs and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. But Robin does not say our name, so we don't like Robin. We're going to go down here to Gus. Gus is going to be the MVP of this glitch. So we dial Gus's number. He says our full name, we get 2 legendary fish and a prismatic shard. He tells us that the special of the day is fried eel. We're going to learn today's special many times. So we right click and that hangs up. I'm going to hit number 6 just to get myself an empty slot. We right click again and we call Gus. And we are going to do this 50 times, every single time. So right click to skip the text, right click to close that, right click to open, and then right click to call Gus again. Every single time we call Gus, he says our full name, which gives us one of each of these 3 items. Right click, right click, right click. Actually, you can see the item numbers are increasing here. And let's call Gus again. I really want to know if the special of the day is still fried eel. So one really nice thing about this glitch, well, first of all, these are, like I said, 3 of the most expensive items in the game in terms of sell price. Each of the 2 fish sells for 5,000 gold, and the prismatic shard sells for 2,000. So every phone call is going to be worth 12,000 gold to us, which is quite overpowered. And another nice thing about this glitch is that time doesn't move with this screen, like while you're actively dialing, or with this on the screen, with the dialog box on the screen. But time does move here. So in terms of, you can see it just went 210 to 220. So in terms of really using our time effectively, here's the idea. We're going to right click to open the telephone, right click on Gus, right click to skip, to fast forward the text, right click to close the text, and then very quickly right click again. It's only the time in between closing the text box and then right clicking on the phone to reopen the list of phone numbers where the clock moves. And so you can see that we can do that in less than a second, as long as we're just kind of actively right-clicking, right-click, right-click, right-click. And so hardly any in-game time passes. That 220 is pretty much going to stay just where it is. So that was 3 right-clicks in a row. I'll do it again. The only time I move the mouse is to highlight Gus's name. So 1, 2, 3 clicks, and then move down to Gus for the 4th click, and then back in position for the 3 fast clicks. So let's just keep on doing this here, and I'll point out that I don't feel too terrible using this particular glitch. If I really wanted to cheat hardcore, I would use a mod. I think it's like CJB Cheats, something like that. There's actually a link to it down in the video description below. With that, I could just click a button and get 100,000 gold every time I click that button. Certainly much quicker in terms of real time than what I'm doing here. And with that same cheats menu, you can like max out all of your skills. You can teleport around the map. You can change your walking speed. You can make it so that one hit would take out any tree or any stone or anything like that. You can really cheat good. You can cheat for real with that mod. And I've played around with that mod. But in terms of like this one like official playthrough where I'm really going to try to complete the game 100% and get that perfection rating, this is the only glitch that I feel comfortable using. Technically, this is actually like a chair glitch that we're going to do to get into the secret forest early, but I feel okay doing that too. But anyway, I feel okay using this glitch, whereas I wouldn't feel great using the cheat menu. So this glitch is not me like rewriting the code, you know, like that cheat mod does. It's just me putting in specific kind of funky characters in the for my name in the name field in the beginning of starting a new game. And the maker of the game actually knows that this glitch exists. There's like a little Easter egg, which I haven't yet gotten to myself in my own playthrough, but the game itself will call you out for being a cheater if you do a particular thing for doing what I've done here, which is to put like an item number as my name. And so they didn't patch the glitch. They just you know, they just called you out or whatever. And yeah, it's okay with me. Like I said, it allows me to get into the game much earlier, much quicker than I would otherwise. Okay, so here's one. Once in a while, Gus is slurping and chewing. So that one you don't actually get the money for because he doesn't say your name. What a jerk. So yeah, so if you're totally opposed to using cheats and glitches, and you're not willing to do this this telephone glitch along with me, this particular video series is going to be all that useful to you in terms of you being able to copy it, because I'm going to have way more money way earlier than the game intends, and I'm going to use that money. I'm going to spend that money and do upgrades and make buildings and all that jazz. Still, maybe you'll learn some things watching my video series anyway, even if you don't use this glitch. I do bring a lot of organizational skill to this playthrough, and I've got the spreadsheet that I've made with the daily plan and lots of other really important tabs. In particular, the All Items tab, I think, is my kind of greatest contribution to the Stardew Valley community. Of course, at this moment that I'm recording this, that spreadsheet is not publicly available, so it's no contribution at all, but I'm hoping people get some use out of it. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video here. I'm going to keep making phone calls until I'm up to 50. If you really want to cheat and you have like a, the ability to make a macro, then you could just record yourself doing this clicking thing. Maybe you record a series of 10 phone calls and then you just let the macro run. I use something called OP Auto Clicker for that purpose. It's free, it works, gets good reviews. Yeah. So I'm just going to do 10 more of these phone calls. You can see the clock has only gone from, I think it was 2:10 when I started this, up to 2:30. So really, we're cheating good. Let me pause the video here and I will be back with 50 of these phone calls completed. I know how many I've done because I'm just looking at how many of these special items I have. Okay, so I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Okay, and I'm back just about a minute or two later, making my 50th phone call. I'll mention this mod that I've got up here. This is the experience bars mod, which tells you shows you how much progress you've made on your experience in each of the 6 categories. So that's something that's useful but not required. Again, there's a link to that mod down in the video description below as well. Okay, so I think I've made all of my cheaty phone calls, and now we're going to take the phone, and you take the phone by hitting it with your axe. So let's do that. I'll push 1. I'll whack this thing here. Again, you need to make sure that you have enough energy so that that doesn't bring you to 0. Okay, so we'll pause there. Moving on to the next step. Head to the blacksmith. Make sure you get there by 3 o'clock. So he closes at 4 o'clock, I hope he closes at 4 o'clock. Otherwise, I'm in big trouble and I'll have to redo this video. Okay, so heading back to the blacksmith. The reason we need to see the blacksmith is that he is willing to buy those shards right now for 2,000 gold each. The fish, we're going to have to wait until tomorrow to get the money for those fish. So, because we're going to ship those fish, and then in the overnight you get paid for all the things that you've shipped. Okay, 50 prismatic shards at 2,000 each. We just got 2 new achievements for getting 15,000 gold and 50,000 gold, and we are all kinds of rich. He is impressed. Okay, so you sell the shards, you buy 200 copper, 100 iron, and 100 coal. Okay, so if you click one at a time here, left click, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. You get them one at a time, but I want 200 of these things, so I don't want to click 200 times. So you could right click and hold. That's what I'm doing right there. If you hit the shift key while you click, then you buy them 5 at a time. And if you hit the control and shift keys together while you right click, you buy them 25 at a time. And so that's a pretty quick way to get 200. So we'll plop that there. 100 of these with 4 clicks. 100 of these with 4 clicks. Cool. Okay, moving right on. Let's head over to the saloon. So we're out of here. And now we'll go just a little bit south over this bridge. We haven't taken this bridge before. And this takes us back to Pelican Town proper. When we get to this vertical fence here, we hug it. And then the saloon is just up here. So this is Gus. He is our BFF in this game because every time we call him, he says our name, which is just so great. So we are going to patronize his store. We're going to buy coffee and salads, 15 each. Let's do that. So holding shift, 5, 10, 15 salads. And then scrolling down to the coffee, holding shift, 5, 10, 15 coffees. Lovely. And then we'll move down here just a little bit. You can click on the coffee, you can right click, and it says drink. And you say absolutely. And then we're out of here. So you can see here, I think I can pause and it'll show, yeah. It says +1 speed from the coffee for like a minute 23 or something like that. So this allows us to walk, I think, 10% faster, which feels important. We're going to be drinking coffee almost the whole time in this game. Okay, then we head to the general store. It says by 4 o'clock. Are we close? Well, it's right around 4. The goal is to get to the carpenter before they close at 5. That's what all these times are supposed to do. Getting here to the blacksmith by 3 gets you to the general store by 4, gets you to the carpenter before she closes at 5. Okay, so we're going to go to the general store, which is just north. I'll push the 2 to empty my inventory. Okay, and you can talk to Pierre again, but he doesn't say your name every time you talk to him. He only said it when we met him, so he's not as useful as the phone calls to Gus. Okay, so it says buy the backpack upgrade, so we stand right in here, and for 2,000 gold on the very first day, when we have no right to have this much gold, we get the large backpack, and now the inventory space is 24. And so we weren't able to use this space here before. It was darker, like this dark brown. I can't put anything down in here. Okay, while I'm in here, I'm going to move the coffee and salad to earlier in my collection. Okay, so we bought the backpack. Now we're going to buy 50 parsnips. So here we go. Pierre, I would like 50 of these. Control-Shift, right-click, 50 parsnips. And that step is done. And then we're going to go to the carpenter, back to the carpenter. So it seems like we're doing a lot of, oh goodness, this is going to be close, gang. Carpenter closes at 5 o'clock. Normally this is not close for me, but I did a lot of kind of talking and dawdling while we were clearing out the farm. And if it's as close as this, I think you can actually, even if she is starting to walk away, like she closes like right at 5, I think you can grab her as she's starting to walk for the door. But I think once she gets beyond the desk there, you're in trouble. Okay, so we barely made it here. Hopefully you didn't cut that as close as I did, but that was the point of this 3 p.m. deadline. Okay, so we're going to buy a chair, because who doesn't like chairs? You need a comfortable place to sit. So the oak chair is the cheapest one. Put it right there. And then we're going to buy 500 stone. Let's do that. Okay, so you can shift and click, and then 25 at a time, right click. If you hold down right click, then you don't have to click individually a bunch of times. So 500 stone, that's cool. And then 2 stacks of wood. All right, so a stack is 999. So I'm shift clicking and shift controlling while I right click. Hold down right click. Hold down right click, and just like that, we get a stack of 999 wood. Again, we have no right to be able to buy all of these resources, but we are no good at big, fat, dirty, stinking cheaters. Okay, and then we're going to upgrade our house using spending 10,000 gold. Excellent. All right, so she's about to walk away because it's pretty much right at 5 o'clock. So I'm going to hit escape, and then I'm going to immediately right click, which will open up the dialogue with her again. Escape, right click. Okay, upgrade the house. So it says it will cost 10,000 gold, easy, and also 450 pieces of wood. Well, we hadn't gathered 450 pieces of wood on our farm, but we just bought 2,000 wood. So are we interested? You bet we are. Okay, so she'll get started tomorrow and be finished in 3 days. Some of the buildings that she makes take 3 days to do. Some of them take only 2. So 2 or 3 days, and she always starts the day after you make your purchase. Okay, so we just barely made it. I was a little bit nervous about that 5 o'clock deadline. It says drink some more coffee. As soon as the coffee buff runs out, we'll drink some more. And then ship the legendary fish and put all the items into the chest. So that means heading back to our farm. So let's go. All right, we're out of here. Okay, so there's a shortcut to the farm, and it's right up this way. And for some reason, going up this way skips like a whole east-west section of the map. Like we're already above the bus stop, which doesn't feel right to me. I don't know. Anyway, it's quicker. So let's head right in here. And the reason that I have my scythe with me is that sometimes this area is kind of blocked off. We haven't been over here yet. So, and the scythe doesn't use any energy. Okay, cool. All right, so it says ship the fish. So we right click here, pulls up the inventory. We're going to ship only the fish, 2 legendary fish. Click. If you ever ship something. So let me escape to get out of there, and then I'll come back here. And you say, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to ship that. You can retrieve the last thing you shipped by left-clicking. Okay, I'm going to ship that, and I'm going to ship that. I can only retrieve the last thing. So those blue fish are gone. And I can come back and I can retrieve the green fish until I ship something else. Only the last thing. Okay, so we ship the fish, then we go to the chest, right click to open it, and it says put everything in here. So put all this stuff in here. Telephone, you bet, all these things. But we do want the seeds, 50 parsnip seeds, and we'll get rid of the chair, and we do need the hoe, and might as well just have our other tools. We need the watering can as well. I'll hit escape. I'll hit escape again, which will allow me to readjust all of these things here. I think that's pretty good there. Okay, cool. All right, next step. It says keep clearing the 18 by 9 area and hoe and water the 64 specific spots. All right, so that's what we're doing right now. Oh, one thing, our energy is super, super low. So how do we get that up? Well, we're going to push the 7 key to highlight the salad, and then right click, and we're going to eat the salad, and we're going to go from 15 to 128. Excellent. That was so tasty. And salad is healthy for you. Let's eat another one. And just like that, 241. Okay, so let's continue to till up our garden. So we're going to stand right here and go east, north, west, and south. Clay is a good resource for us. We're going to go one more and do our 4 spots. We'll go up and do the 4 spots, and then we'll go up one more time and do the 4 spots, just like that. Okay, I'm going to hit escape here. I'll pull up the map, which is this one, and show you the reason we're doing the 4 spots is that we're eventually going to have a sprinkler in the middle of the 4 spots. And we're not doing anything in this middle collection, this middle 3 by 3 block, because that's where the scarecrow is going to go without a sprinkler. So that's down the road, but anyway, that's what we're after here. It's going to be a while before we have, you know, those sprinklers, but anyway, this is the pattern that I've created here, is leaving room for sprinklers. Okay, so let's till and till and till, and the first sprinklers that we get are only going to be able to water the spots, the 4 spots that we're tilling, the northeast, south, and west, which is why we're not tilling more. Okay, so let's we'll come back to the stump thing. We have to adjust our plan just a little bit because of the stump. You can see our energy slowly ticking away every time we use the hoe. There's another clay. That's excellent. Getting a little bit darker out as we work real hard. We're going to leave this middle block empty, and then over here, so technically that's one of our spots, and so is that, but we need 2 more. So we'll just do those 2, and we'll undo those later. But anyway, that's our plan. Okay, and then we're going to water all of these spots as well. So we hit the 5, and then we water, 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 and water. So you can left click 4 times, or you can hold left click as you move your mouse around. You can see the squares getting darker as you water them. One more right there. Our watering can does empty out, so we can't do this forever. So we will have to fill up our watering can. I think it's just 1 time. I like to not be too far from that pond over there to the right when I have to fill up. And using the watering can uses up some of our energy. Lots of things use up our energy. But we've got plenty of salads, plenty of coffee. Oh, coffee. Let's drink some coffee. 6. Right click and drink. Okay, and then using the mouse wheel will also move you around on the bottom hotbar, toolbar, whatever it's called. So at some point we'll run out of water. So I think I'll get that. There's the error, and so we just left click when you're standing next to a pond, and that fills you right back up. Super. Okay, really important that we finish this farm watering and planting before we pass out at 2 a.m. Okay, so we're running out of energy here. Let's eat some salad. And then back to our watering. Because the early parts of my game are really specific in terms of the timing of everything. And in particular, we need to plant these parsnips today and water them every day and harvest them on the 5th day. That's the goal. And so if you don't get them planted here, then everything gets pushed back and my plan falls apart. Okay, so I think we are ready to start planting. So we click the 8, which is where my parsnip seeds are, and then left click. I can't even see here. All right, so left click, and every time we move the mouse around, it deposits one of these parsnip seeds to a tilled spot. So I don't have to worry about, like if I click here, left click here, nothing happens. You just have to, the seeds will only go into spots that have been previously tilled. So there's no problem with accidentally clicking on a space that hasn't been tilled yet. But the seeds will also go onto spots that are not watered. So again, you got to make sure that you water everything, otherwise your stuff will not grow. Okay, so it looks like wrapping up our planting here right around 11 o'clock gives us 3 hours until we pass out. Okay, so we should have only one. So if you look at my instructions here, it says you should plant your parsnips. We had 65 of them, and we're planting them in 64 spots, which means we should have 1 left over. Now I have 3 left over, which means that I missed 2 of the spots. So I'm turning my brightness way up. It's kind of dark in the game, and I'm just looking around to see. Oh, here's one right here. So there's 1, and where was the other one that we missed? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so there we go. All planted, 11:20, plenty of time. Okay, so then the last thing to do before we pass out is work on clearing the farm. So if you go to bed after midnight, then the next morning when you wake up, you will have an energy loss. You won't wake up at full energy. Now this isn't true if you happen to increase one of your skills in the overnight, like that you've done a bunch of work in the day and any of your skills goes up by level, then you'll wake up with full energy the next day. But not waking up with full energy isn't a problem. We've got salads. They add 113 energy each, and because of our cache glitch with the phone, we're going to have plenty of salads to refill our energy. So I'm not worried about that, which means that I'm going to continue working until 2 a.m. Pretty much any day, 2 a.m. you will pass out wherever you are. So like I said, the last step in today is to continue working on clearing the farm. So let's do that, shall we? I will drink another coffee here, because who doesn't drink coffee at 11:30 at night? And I'm going to focus on trees, because we're going to upgrade the axe tomorrow, which means we're going to be without an axe for 2 days while the blacksmith works on our, works on our axe, upgrading our axe to copper. Okay, so we just keep on hacking away at these trees. Feel free to clear anything you want. Keep an eye on your energy. Have another salad if your energy runs out. You don't need to be so diligent about collecting all this wood and stuff, because we can just buy the wood. It's fine. And eventually we're going to clear all of the spaces for in our forest, just to have like a kind of a clean slate to make the forest whatever we want. But this grassy area that I'm working on right now, this grassy area just north of me, is where a bunch of our chests are going to go. So I like to focus on clearing this early on. Okay, a salad at 12:40 a.m., you bet. So we can't clear the bushes. So if you look just, I don't know, 3 squares to the west of me, there's a bush, this thing right here. We can't clear it with this axe, but as soon as we upgrade our axe 1 time, we will be able to clear that bush. So maybe another tree or 2 until we pass out at 2 a.m. And then that will be our first day done. One thing I'll point out, so I'm not going to drink another coffee here. Can we get one more tree? One thing I'll point out is that I recommend saving your save file, like making a backup of your save file. Let's see if we can slash some of these things here before we fall asleep. Can't even see what I'm doing. Yeah, I recommend making a backup of your save file every day. So there's the 2 a.m. bell, and we pass out just like that. And there's instructions or a link on how to save your backup file in the video description below. So that's the first thing that I do every time I start a new play session. So before I started playing Spring 2 the next day in the game, I would make a backup of Spring 1 here. Okay, so we leveled up because we hacked away at a ton of trees. Each one of those trees that we knocked over increased our foraging skill. Our axe is now a little bit better. Trees now sometimes drop seeds. We can now craft wild seeds, which is something you can plant in the spring, and you can make a field snack. But we've got lots of salads for our caloric needs. So we click OK there. We made no money from farming, no money from foraging or mining or other, but we did cheat our way to, I don't know, like 50 of these, 51 of these. Excellent, at 5,000 each. So just like that, 505,000 gold sitting in our bulging wallet. That is awesome. Okay, so it's going to start here, day 2. I'm going to hit escape. There's an achievement that we just hit, Homesteader, because we cheated our way to 250,000 gold. But I'll hit escape and wind this video down right here. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.